Hello everyone and welcome back to another video on my channel. Today I'm going to be doing a video on my top 5 microcap gems in the crypto gaming sector. Now all of these are in the gaming sector. There's very varying rates in terms of their market cap. We've got some that are 2 or 3 million in market cap and then some that are more like 20 million in market cap. So I would consider all of them very small, very tiny caps. And I would say all of them have between 100 to 500x potential in this bull run. So that's 1 to 2 years. You could potentially get a 100x or a 500x. Now, with that said, these are not guaranteed gains. You could get much less than that. You could lose money on these projects, okay? I'm not a financial advisor, and this video isn't financial advice. I'm just sharing my personal opinions and what works for me. Also, guys, I would highly recommend that you check out my Patreon page. I'm dropping the latest and greatest microcaps over in this group. So if you want to get into those low cap gems before the rest of the crowd, this is the group to be in because they get it way before everyone else. Just today, I've dropped a buy alert, a brand new buy alert. If you want to go and access this microcap buy alert 41 minutes ago, hit that link in the description, grab the elite tier or above, and you will gain instant access. So, the first coin in this list is Revolve Games. Now, I talked about the Patreon there. These guys were getting into this at 300k in market cap when I dropped my consideration alert for this gem over in the Patreon. So some people are up huge on their money, right? Some people are up 10x not that long ago, or something around that range, 8x, okay? So people are in big gains, and it's very respectable gains. Now, I wouldn't argue that we're anywhere near the top for this project. I would still say we are very, very early on. When you look at what this project's doing, it's a project for the future. They're still in their very developmental growth stages. I was talking to the CEO over on the Gem Hunters channel, and they've got big plans. They're looking to get multiple games over in their ecosystem. They're looking to potentially go open source so that new developers can build upon them, and much, much more. So for me, this project ticks pretty much all the boxes. Great tokenomics, super low market cap, and very interesting looking games. Now, I must say, there's not much there yet. We've only got one game and it's in beta. So it's still a very speculative play. But if this project commits to what they say they will do, this could go huge places in the next bull run. And I wouldn't be surprised if we see it go to 300 million market cap or potentially higher if it fulfills some of its promises. The next one is Fabwell. Fabwell has a market cap of 1.5 million. Shout out to SSM Crypto and Crypto Seth. Both of these guys were talking about this project before I was, so I'll give them credit when it's due. We've got a circulating supply here of 46%. So again, I look at my tokenomics and they are relatively good. This is another very speculative play. They have got a game out already called Arsenal. It's a shooting game. But what I would say is they need to improve on their marketing. They need to improve on their website as well. And then we can potentially look at this as a serious project to do 100, 200, 300x in the next bull run. But what I'm seeing is a lot of potential, right? Certainly a high risk, high reward play. But when you look at the types of games they're building, they do look fun, right? They look like people will play them. Definitely a DEGEN project. But I could see this one blowing up in the next bull run if they get their marketing improved and their website as well. The next one is Altcoins. Now, I thought that there was varying levels in market cap in this list, right? Altcoins is a relatively higher low cap gem, but the potential in this project makes it a micro cap. Even though it's 24 million, the potential is the same as the others, if not more, right? So I wouldn't be surprised if we see this one do a 500x. Even though it's significantly better than all the others in terms of the size of the market cap. And the reason for this is the wide-ranging utility. The fact that they're getting into Web3 infrastructure means that they can be huge, they can be future-proof, and they can be extremely robust in terms of the different types of crypto gaming that they get into, right? The problem with a game like Fabwell, or a project like Fabwell, which has multiple games, is they're very reliant on the games that they have, right? They're very reliant on that their games are good and people play them. With Altcoins, all they're reliant on is their technology, their infrastructure. They're not necessarily the ones creating games like Gala or creating games like Vulcan Forged. What they're doing is they're creating the infrastructure for NFTs, the infrastructure for interoperable NFTs, right? That's what they're looking at. So I would actually say Altura is a safer investment in terms of the gaming industry, but also a much more potentially lucrative investment. I think it could get to the heights of a project, maybe not as big as Immutable X, but it could certainly get into that top kind of 10 in terms of the gaming industry, up there with the likes of Sandbox, Axie Infinity, Gala, these types of projects. If it continues to do what it's doing, and influencers continue to talk about it. This project is actually backed by some big influencers such as Alex Becker, which obviously when the bull run kicks off means more and more money is going to be poured into the project. The next one is Nakamoto Games, and you can see I'm going through these very quickly. And that's because obviously there's 5 gems. I want to get through it relatively quick. Try and keep my videos in 8 minutes. But what I'm seeing with this one is another high-risk, high-reward project. Now, there are a few red flags with this project, even though I think it's an amazing gem, even though I hold it myself and I'm actually up, I think 3, 4, 5x, something around that range. You know, there's a lot going on with this project. Their games are very good. They're going mobile as well, so you'll be able to play these games on your phone. They're very simple games, very playable games. You know, anyone can play them. Your gran can play them. Child can play them. Anyone, right? Even though I wouldn't recommend your child gets into gambling, but you get what I'm saying. These games are very simple to play, single player, but also multiplayer. And I think people are going to play them, right? They do also have free to play, so you don't just have to spend your money and lose stuff. So that's something I like as well. In terms of the red flags, right? I've run this for a token sniffer, and there's a few things that don't look too good. I think there's a lot of the coins in 1 or 2 wallets. Or something like that, right? So you always find something which is a red flag, and this is the point with looking for microcap gems, is essentially there is no such thing as the perfect microcap gem. There will always be 1 or 2 things with every project that maybe, you know, could be a cause for concern. That doesn't necessarily mean that you don't invest. That just means that you stay cautious and you only invest what you can afford to lose. And this is the same with all of these, pretty much, okay? Revolve Games, one of the downfalls is that there's not many games out, right? There's only one and it's a beta. Fabwell, the website and the marketing isn't great, okay? Altura is harder to pick problems with this one, but you get what I'm saying. When you look into these DEGEN picks, when you look lower down, there does become a few red flags, and you shouldn't ignore them. What you should do, and this is what I say to my Patreons, is you should basically balance out the good and the bad, and come to a conclusion on which one outweighs the other. Does the good outweigh the bad, or does the bad outweigh the good? And ultimately, that should guide your decision making on whether you buy or don't buy a microcap gem. The final one is Wasda, or Wasda, however you want to say it. Now, this has a tremendous trust score from the check.io trust score, right? 81. This is one of the highest I've ever seen. Now, again, this project is extremely low in market cap, only 7 million. I'll show you a bit about what they're doing. They're basically like an online community. They have an app where you can talk, gamers, you know, basically kind of like a gaming social media, essentially. It's like a gaming hub. Kind of like a Discord, but much more interactive, much more focused towards gaming rather than just communicating. And I like this project a lot. I think there's a lot of potential. I like the idea of, you know, having kind of like a social media for gamers. I certainly think a lot of gamers would love that. And, you know, maybe you're a single player and you're looking to find someone else to play a game with. What are you going to go to? Probably Wasda, right? And they have a lot of integrations, a lot of influencer backing as well, I believe. It's a great project, okay? Good tokenomics, low in market cap. I wouldn't be surprised if we see this one do maybe 100x. But, and there's always a but, the question that I have for Wasda, and anyone in the comments who knows this, it'd be great if you could share it. Why do they need a token? What is the utility in the token? I'm guessing it's just for participation and rewards. But it seems to me as a project where it doesn't really need a token to operate. They could literally just have an app and no one would even know that there was a token, right? A lot of these projects, what you have to look for is token utility. Are the tokens actually being used for transactional purposes? If they're not being used for transactional purposes, then it's merely a speculative investment buying the token. You're not actually buying it for utility. You're buying it just to bet on the idea. Now, that can be a bit risky at times because if there's no trading volume, if no one's actually using the token to purchase things, all of the basically value is stimulated from speculation. So I would say, you know, check this one out in more depth. I haven't done enough research in it to conclusively say whether it's a project that I would buy or not, but it's certainly one in my watch list, and it's one which I've been talking about for a while. And it's certainly one that I like the idea, right? Whether or not it's a good investment is different to whether or not it's a good idea, okay? Many cryptos have great products, right? The game can be great, whatever, right? But it may not be a good investment. Just because something's got a good product doesn't mean it's a wise investment. Now, I'm not saying it's unwise, but what I'm saying is I need to do a bit more research before I go and say, you know, I'm absolutely buying this one and it's the perfect gem for me. But guys, hopefully you did enjoy this video. I've done more in-depth reviews on all of these coins pretty much. So if you go on my channel and you search Crypto Archie Revolve Games, Crypto Archie Altura, you know, Crypto Archie Nakamoto Games, you'll find an actual in-depth review rather than me just skimming over it really quick. Make sure you are subscribed, guys. We are on that road to 11K. I would really appreciate if you could join me on that journey. Check out that Patreon page because these guys are getting in super early on great projects. And that's really what I've been known for here, guys, is finding things before the rest of the crowd. Finding things before the other big YouTubers start talking about projects. Because, you know, it's too late when you start seeing BitBoy talk about a project and you start seeing Altcoin Daily and all of these big YouTubers, right? They're great YouTubers, but it's too late. They tell you too late. What my job is to find these low cap, unknown projects, unknown trends, such as what AI was a few months ago, and share it to my Patreons, and then they can get in and reap the rewards. Thank you guys all for watching. Hit that link in the description. Check out every tier, see what's for you, and I'll look forward to seeing everyone in my next video. Goodbye.